Okay, well, afternoon, everyone. It's just gone 12:30. So in the spirit of the methodology, we will make a start. So good to see everybody on the call for this week's report out. And we've got the RPIW event report out from children's phlebotomy team at the LGI. So I will hand over to, I'm not sure who's leading off on this.
It's me, Phil. Thank you.
All right, fantastic, Rachel. So just before we come to you, I can see that Magnus has joined. I'm sure we'll want the opportunity to say hello.
Afternoon, everybody.
Great. Good to see you, Magnus. So, right, sorry, Rachel, back to you. We'll over to you.
Thank you very much. So hello and welcome to our report out. My name's Rachel and I'm an improvement specialist in the KPO team, and I've been the workshop lead for this rapid process improvement workshop. This is our project form on the screen, and we were asked to support the children's phlebotomy team at the LGI, as we've seen an increased demand of patients that come requiring blood tests from both GP surgeries and clinics. There was a particular pressure for the phlebotomy team on Mondays and Thursdays due to some additional clinics, and what resulted was significant wait times, sometimes over 3 hours in the department waiting for a blood test. We also saw an increase in PALS complaints based on the amount of time they had to wait. Staff in the phlebotomy room were also experiencing interruptions and delays, with additional stress and pressure from the growing queue outside the room and increasingly frustrated patients outside. This is a walk-in service where patients enter the department, take a ticket and sit and wait, but people can arrive at any time, so the demand is unpredictable and uneven. And the team are going to tell you more about what we achieved this week. Next slide, please. Hello, my name is Catherine. Can we have the next slide, please, Rowan? Oh, we need to sync. There we go.
Which one is it you wanted, sorry?
Previous slide, sorry.
Previous one. One.
Hi, my name's Catherine. I'm an improvement specialist in the KPO team, and I'm team lead for this RPIW week. So you can see on the screen our target progress report for the week. I think it is the next slide, Rowan, which was agreed by the planning team and sponsor in the lead up for the week. Crucially and most importantly is our lead time for the whole process, which was 52 minutes 38 seconds at the start of the week. Within this, there was a huge range and variation observed from around half an hour to nearly 2 hours. The number of patients waiting is a crucial metric to illustrate the health of the process. The work in process, or WIP, which measures the total number of patients in the process at a snapshot in time, was 12 prior to the week. Our standard work in process, or SWIP, being less than the WIP, illustrates bottlenecking or batching in the current process, which we also observed in the large amounts of waiting. We also collected a quality measure around the number of patients who take a ticket and leave the department, usually due to those long waits, which was around 16% prior to the week. Next slide, please. We also gathered staff and patient feedback to understand their experience of the current process. So patients gave the service 6 out of 10. And although they gave the phlebotomist plenty of positive feedback for their part in the process, they were overwhelmingly frustrated with the waiting times. Staff feedback was 89% neutral or negative, showing the negative impact of the process on those who work in the department. Next slide, please.
Hello, my name is Sharon Panasar and I'm the place specialist working in outpatients. I work closely with the phlebotomy team and as an advocate and supporting children's blood procedures at LGI. I have been part of an improvement workshop. I wanted to talk about the value stream map for this process. Before the event, we observed 11 patients collating times within each process steps. We observed the lead time, which is the time a patient arrives in the department until the phlebotomist is ready for the next patient. The average lead time was recorded at 52 minutes 38 seconds. Average waiting was 44.31 seconds, but the procedure time was less than 4 minutes. This illustrates that the majority of the process is waiting and not adding any value. Waiting areas are busy, not child-friendly, no space for individual needs, leaving families and staff frustrated and feeling unhappy, or not delivering the best service or experiences for patients. Next slide. As a team, we explored various methods, explored the flowchart on the process of the phlebotomy team, generated lots of ideas, and we were challenged to act upon some of the most significant areas by making small changes, which created a massive impact. Next slide.
Hello, I'm Ines, a graduate management trainee having my placement in KPO team, and I'm an outside eyes in the improvement team. So the other piece of information we would like to share with you is this percent load chart. We measure the workloads of our two phlebotomists. One of them is responsible for taking blood and another is supporting. And we have a waste of people skills because of a lot of wait time. We can see that both of their workload is within the tech time, which is 500 seconds. It means that theoretically, we should be able to fulfill all the demand of the department within our working hours. However, as we have showed you, we are currently having a really long waiting time due to all kinds of wastes. Next slide, please. Also, we would like to address the patient experience. We have captured the movement of our phlebotomists and our patients. We can see that the patients, which is the red line, is moving around and wandering around looking for the right place because of unclear signs and instructions. It can take them 84 steps and more than 1 minute to get to the waiting room. It's also a really terrible experience for isolation patients, risking getting in touch with people coming downstairs to take their blood samples. Next slide, please.
Hello everyone, my name is Kirsty. I'm Sister in Children's Outpatients and Pre-Assessment. This week I've been working alongside Leeds Improvement Method to look at how we can improve the phlebotomy service for patients, carers and staff. On Wednesday, following a group discussion, we had a few ideas and one of them was to look at patient flow. We decided to book slots for some patients for bloods. We took a booked liver clinic and asked the consultant to book them time slots which we provided around their appointment times. My role was to look at feedback from patients on the book list and also count the number of patients in the general waiting area. This included other clinic appointments as well as GP patients. We found the lead time was 8 minutes 12 seconds. The standard process also was reduced to 18 minutes. The waiting area patients previously had was 12 at one time. This was reduced to 6 at the most time. The feedback from patients was 9.6 out of 10, which is really good. Also, comments were positive. Comments included less waiting time, smoother service, smoother process and kind-friendly staff. Overall, this was a positive experience. Next slide.
Hello, my name is Mohammed Jalib and I'm a phlebotomist. My role in this event was team member of away team. We were given the challenge by our sponsor to reduce the patient lead time from 52 minutes down to 20 minutes. We came up with the idea to serve isolation patients and they did in their dedicated room within children's outpatients. Many of these patients are on medications that requires the blood tests to be performed within a set time. And they have limited contact with people outside of their bubble due to their low immunity. We built on this idea to include all the liver and renal patients in clinic. In this PDSA cycle, the patient's waiting time reduced from 44 minutes to 2 minutes, which resulted in a lot of great feedback from the patients and staff. Next slide, please.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is May. I'm a phlebotomist at the LGI. I'm so glad that I'm part of this project, a project that is really beneficial in our department because of its current situation due to the long waiting time in children's phlebotomy. After all the tests, we've had an amazing feedback from staff and parents. One of the comments we've had was from a mother of 2 children with special needs. I can't imagine her struggle every time she has to come to the hospital and then be faced with a long wait in phlebotomy. During the test, when she was seen so quickly, she was surprised at the short wait, and she said her experience was indeed amazing. I was really happy, and it was a great feeling to see such a contented and a satisfied family leaving the room. We also had a great feedback from staff. They were very happy because the patient's flow was great, and they even managed to finish the clinic on time, which hasn't happened before. Finally, our lead time reduced from 52 minutes down to 11 minutes in clinic. The process in phlebotomy continued as usual during the test, and we found that the lead time in phlebotomy also reduced to a similar time. There were a lot of ideas and suggestions in the last few days, and making them into action isn't easy. Accepting change is also never easy, but any improvement project requires dedication, focus, and clear outcome to maintain a momentum. Next slide, please.
If you remember the diagram we showed before, it was really frustrating and took really long for our patient to find the waiting room. And in our PDSA, patients just need to wait for the phlebotomist to pick them up. It is more straightforward, and it takes only 44 seconds for family to walk from the waiting area to the blood room. And it is definitely guided by our staff member, which is more easy. For isolation patients, they just need to stay in their room and wait for the service. It takes a bit longer for our phlebotomists to walk, but the experience for our patient is definitely excellent. Next slide, please.
Hello, my name is Shabana and I'm a supervisor in phlebotomy based at the LGI. My role in this event is process owner, and I'm responsible for supporting the improvements, remeasuring and taking responsibility for the action log. One of the improvements we implemented during this week was to have better visual cues within children's phlebotomy to help people find the service and to improve patient experience. We have put red stars on the walls to direct people to children's phlebotomy, but these have fallen off the walls. So we would like to build on this improvement to have some visual cues on the floor from the entrance of Martin Wing to children's phlebotomy. Our next action is to build on our last PDSA cycle with the liver and renal patients in children's outpatients. We're continuing the test next Thursday to see if one phlebotomist can complete the clinic list with assistance from staff in children's outpatients. We usually have a team of 2 phlebotomists with every paediatric patient, but we hope that having 1 phlebotomist in children's outpatients will reduce the demand in phlebotomy. This should also result in a higher percentage of positive feedback from patients regarding the waiting times and the patient experience. We will be collecting data on how many times the phlebotomist requires assistance and how long it takes for the assistance to be provided. We will also be collecting feedback from staff in this process. Finally, we have decided on a 5S project to improve our stock room. We currently have a spreadsheet of all the stock used within the department, and we will be continuing to audit this data in the next few weeks. Next slide, please. So I get the pleasure of reporting the results of the improvement in our updated target progress report. So you can see we had a 78% improvement in the lead time from over 52 minutes to around 11 minutes. Crucially, there was a vast improvement in the number of patients waiting in the process of 92%. Because of the reduction in the wait time, there were no defects recorded on the day of our final test. So no one took a ticket and left the department because of the wait. Next slide, please. We received fantastic feedback from staff and patients, as you've already seen. All the feedback was positive, and patients and staff gave feedback scores of 9.4 and 9.5 out of 10 respectively. In fact, all of our clinic patients gave the new process 10 out of 10, apart from one child who wanted a sticker after his appointment. Next slide, please. So what have we learnt this week? Well, Catherine and I certainly learnt a lot. This has been our first experience of leading in these particular roles in an improvement event like this. As a team, the away team, we've had a real appreciation of what phlebotomists do and how difficult that role can be, especially with vulnerable patients, and certainly because this is a process where children are anxious and upset about having their blood taken. We've seen and heard the impact on children and their families when this process is more streamlined. The blood test is often a small step in a much longer patient journey. Some of our patients come for bloods 3 times a week for a regular period of time. So any improvements have a really significant impact for those families. We've had some mental valleys this week. We've heard we can't do this, but the team has been willing to give it a go. And we've learned that small changes can have a big impact. And that nothing is impossible. There's always a way to improve. Next slide, please. Thank you so much to the away team who've been really supportive and have been willing to be challenged and got stuck in this week. It's been fantastic. I also want to mention Laura and Claire, who joined us for part of the week but haven't been part of the report out today.
Thank you to all their managers for releasing the staff and supporting this event, and for those who are on standby on our advisory list. Massive thank you to the home team who've been continuing the work, carrying on and allowing us to test our new ways of doing things. Dylan as the team lead for the phlebotomy team, just supporting that as well and letting us do that. And special thanks to Sandra from Children's Outpatients for allowing us to go upstairs to clinic to test things, and to Claire, who's been our sponsor, for her enduring support and enthusiasm as well. We also got the amazing insight of a patient this week who came in to talk to us, and her son Alfie uses this service regularly. He's a transplant patient, and she joined us to share her experience, and we're really grateful for that as well. And lots of what she said inspired the ideas that we chose to test. And thank you finally to Jimmy, who was our coach this week. Thank you for your support and for keeping us on track. And that concludes our report out.
Fantastic. Well done to everybody giving that presentation. Really great use of the method. Fantastic RPIW. And I think, you know, just to see the impact on children and parents of a whole raft of really good changes based on the methodology is fantastic. And I just also want to commend you on the team approach to presentation. I think that's the first time we've seen such a lean approach to swapping over on the same screen. So that's obviously taken its own RPIW, I suspect, to actually get as good as that, because that was pretty seamless, to be fair. So brilliant. Right, so we've got some time for questions to the team about that fantastic work. So I've got Karen wanting to come in.
Yeah, I think it would be fair to say that this has been a thorny issue for a number of years, and we have thrown people at it, we've thrown resource at it, but actually that ability to take a step back and use the staff involved, I am so proud of all of them, because certainly the phlebotomy team are predominantly Band 2, Band 3 staff who have really stepped up and taken the opportunity. So a really big thank you and a real commitment to support and continue with the improvements that we've made. Some of the things that they've raised, we were already looking at more permanent solutions. So this has been really helpful in showing that they're needed, but a really big thank you from me on behalf of the TRI team for outpatients who phlebotomy sit with.
Great, thanks, Karen. Lisa?
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. That was great to hear. Just a couple of questions, if that's okay, please. It's great to hear, obviously, about the clinic happening on a Thursday up in Children's Outpatients. Is that just going to be on a Thursday, or is that going to be a regular, everyday occurrence for some other clinics as well? Thank you.
So I think we'd like to trial it on a Thursday, see how well it works, and then we can move on to Monday, because we know that Monday and Thursday are our busiest days, and then we can spread it out over the other days if required. Yeah.
Lovely, that's great. And thank you so much. I have a second question as well. I know there were some comments in there about environment. So I just wondered if there was any discussions about environment. I'm very happy to try and obviously get involved in that and try and support the environment and the feedback we received on that. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, we had some really good ideas about how to improve the environment as well, and that was why it's fab having Sharon in this week. She's had loads of ideas. So yes, there's a lot of other stuff that will be part of our action log, I think, follow-up actions that we might get Sharon and yourself involved in.
I think
Thank
Laura
you
as well. She started doing a PDSA cycle when she was in that day. So I think she's got a lot of feedback for you as well.
Thank you so much.
Great, thanks, Lisa. Jimmy?
Thanks, team. Fantastic job. Really proud. Just picking up on Lisa's point, I was the killjoy because they had some brilliant ideas about making the environment better for the waiting. And I said, can we just get rid of the waiting so they don't need to do any of that? Which was met with slightly raised eyebrows. But as you can imagine, and what you've heard from the team, they absolutely went with that. And I think, as Rachel said, the constructive criticism and challenge was really taken on. Yeah, so really proud to just be able to listen and participate. I'd like to give credit to Rachel and Catherine, as you heard, they were on debut for this event, but you wouldn't know it by looking at the results. So well done. Great to see. Now we can schedule a load more for you, which is also exciting. Thanks very much. I think there is what you've heard here, that the power of small tests of change has been emphasised. And I think as that question leads to, it's a pertinent one. This is a test for some patients on some days. And the team are absolutely committed to this being the experience for every patient on every day, that they're in a list of 1 waiting, not 21 waiting. That will take support to scale it up. So I'm really proud, and I'm also optimistic and interested about what 30 days looks like, because it will be critical. Thank you, everybody who's been involved, both on stage and off stage, to get us to where we are. Grateful.
Thanks, Jimmy. Carol?
Thank you. I'm Carol Utley. I'm quality manager in outpatients. So I think we can reflect and absolutely know that one of our big issues has been around waiting times within that area. When we've had feedback from patients and pals, it's always been very positive about the experience within phlebotomy, but not around the waiting time. So I just think this is absolutely amazing to see that reduction, and it's going to make a massive difference for our patients and their families. So well done, brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There has been the whole way through some really positive feedback about what a great job that the phlebotomists do. It's just that waiting bit.
Great, thank you, Carol. So I can't see anybody else wanting to come in. I can't see any other hands up. So I think if that's if there aren't any more questions, I think it just remains to say just fantastic report out, brilliant choreographed presentation, again, just to commend you on that. But I think as Karen said, you know, we've got some thorny problems that the trust in some ways has wrestled with for quite a long time, that have provided quite a poor patient experience, but just shows the power of the methodology to be able to make a real step change in improvement. And I think it also shows just the value of a whole team effort. So it's been wonderful to see so many of you presenting, because it just demonstrates that the real change happens at the front line. You're the ones who know what needs improving, and you've demonstrated today that we can do that. So really look forward to, oh, fantastic, see you all there, brilliant. Really look forward to subsequent report outs, just to make sure that we can continue to deliver that really great patient experience ongoing over something that's just so important for us in our children's hospital. So fantastic work. Thanks everybody for joining, and that's the end of this week's report out.